Taiwan's constitutional court has ruled that public insult laws are constitutional, but it says the scope of punishment for violating a law should be limited. The court was responding to dozens of requests for its opinion. In its ruling, it said public insult charges should not include name-calling during common arguments. It added that litigants must be able to show harm to reputation and that public debate and artistic expression should be protected. To get more clarity on Taiwan's public insult laws, reporter Chris Gorin spoke to lawyer Michael Fahey.
So what are the broad contours of Taiwan's public insult law, and how do those compare to what we normally think of as defamation law in other countries?
So they're a little bit different. Public insult involves you do or say something in a public place. There's got to be one or more people there who can hear the insult. Then there's got to be an insult, which might be a curse word, or it could be conduct like a hand gesture or something like that. And it's got to cause the person to subjectively feel, an attack on their dignity. And just as a practical matter, I mean, the idea is that if somebody insults you, rather than having to, hit them or something or get mad, you have legal recourse to do something about this. So it arguably goes to serving the public peace. In my personal opinion, in the hurly-burly of real life, we should not be so thin-skinned. But I feel this is something that reasonable people can differ about.
Given the slightly broader range of, speech crimes that can be prosecuted in Taiwan, how does this conflict with protections for freedom of speech within Taiwan's constitution?
Well, very simply, you're prohibiting speech, and Taiwan's constitution protects freedom of speech and expression. So any restriction or prohibition like this definitely infringes on freedom of expression, and Taiwan's courts are totally aware of that. Now, the new constitutional decision should solve some of those problems, because the first step in the new test is that you have to look at the context in which the statement is being made. Also on social media and for, YouTube personalities and that kind of thing, I think that will be better protected now. But still, do be a little careful going after people too vigorously. There's no get out of jail. I mean, you're not going to go to jail, but there's no, you could still be fined. So exercise a bit of restraint and decorum.
Do you think the standard that Taiwan has for the right to public reputation is similar to that in other countries, or would you say it's a little bit unique?
Germany has a very similar law, and my understanding is that the legal framework around it is about the same. It's a bit different than in the U.S., where there's a very, very strong concept of freedom of speech. The U.S. is a bit of an outlier. It allows all kinds of speech, like sometimes hate speech, which other countries don't allow. And it doesn't really have, the U.S. just almost thinks that, free speech is just kind of an absolute good. But Taiwan sees it as serving other societal purposes. And so when the speech doesn't serve those purposes, like public debate or artistic expression, then it can be possible to restrict it, which is what they're doing here.